The superhero movie Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is based on the Guardians of the Galaxy superhero team from Marvel Comics. The film is produced by Marvel Studios and is distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. As the sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy in 2014 and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in 2017, it is the third and final film in the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy and the 32nd in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, Pom Klementieff, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Sean Gunn, Chikwudi Iwuji, Will Poulter, Elizabeth Debicki, Maria Bakalova, and Sylvester Stallone all appear in the James Gunn written and directed movie. The Guardians set out on a mission to safeguard Rocket, played by Cooper, from the High Evolutionary, played by Iwuji, in the movie. On a renovated Nowhere, the Guardians of the Galaxy have established their base of operations. After they have settled in, they are attacked the following night by Adam, a superhuman being who was developed as revenge by his mother and the Empress of the Sovereign, Aisha, in order to take Rocket to his creator, the High Evolutionary. Because Rocket has a kill switch embedded in him, the Guardians are unable to treat his wounds after he sustains serious injuries during the battle. In an effort to locate an override code, the team decides to go to the Orgoscope, the corporate headquarters of the High Evolutionary's business Orgocorp. The High Evolutionary becomes fixated on finding his subject. Meanwhile, the Guardians sneak into Orgosphere and steal Rocket's file with the help of the Ravagers and a reluctant Gamora. However, the guards of the Orgosphere attack them, and they only just manage to flee after Peter Quill remotely activates their jetpack suits. They decide to find Thiel after deducing that he might have the override code stored in his memory since he is one of the High Evolutionary scientists. In defiance of Gamora's advice, the group goes to counter-Earth the following day. Gamora abruptly leaves them after criticizing both Quill and the Guardians as a whole for their constant need to mold Gamora into the Gamora he once knew. Aisha and Adam track Gamora's coordinates to counter-Earth after intercepting a communication from her via Ravager that Adam killed while questioning her. While Drax and Mantis stay with Gamora and Rocket, Quill, Nebula, and Groot follow Thiel to the High Evolutionary's ship. Nebula is left behind as Quill and Groot board the High Evolutionary's ship. When Quill and Groot are captured and are aboard the High Evolutionary's ship, it launches and destroys Counter-Earth. Mantis follows Drax there against her will. While remaining with Rocket, Gamora is attacked by a pig warrior sent by the High Evolutionary. The pig warrior is then killed by Warlock when he finds Rocket and arrives in search of him. Adam is subdued by Gamora, who then launches the Guardians' ship. Before Gamora encounters them, Quill and Groot successfully take down the High Evolutionary's men, capture Thiel, jump off with him, and retrieve his memory. The High Evolutionary's ship is being boarded by Nebula, Mantis, and Drax while a frail Adam notices his mother is in danger but is too late to save her. When Rocket collapses and experiences a near-death experience on the Guardians' ship, Lilla, Teefs, and Floor appear to him and tell him that his time hasn't come yet. This is followed by Quill successfully implementing the override code and reviving Rocket. On the High Evolutionary's ship, Mantis, Nebula, and Drax discover swarms of kidnapped prisoners before being captured and held captive in a room with obelisks. The three are able to leave the chamber after Mantis convinces the obelisks to join them, rejoin the Guardians, and defeat the High Evolutionary's army. Kraglin and Cosmo arrive in Nowhere, where Cosmo uses her telekinetic abilities to connect to the High Evolutionary's ship with the aid of Nebula and Kraglin, enabling them to release the kidnapped children. After finding a litter of baby raccoons and other test subjects, Rocket tries to free them but is attacked by a psychotic High Evolutionary. He is then saved by the Guardians. The animals are saved and board Kraglin's ship along with the majority of the Guardians, while the High Evolutionary is left to perish on his ship. Quill barely makes it out of the ships after Cosmo is unable to keep them together for long enough for him to board, and before Adam can save him, he is starting to freeze in space. On their way back to Nowhere, the Guardians in their current configuration decide to split up. Rocket receives the title of Captain of the Guardians from Quill before he departs for Earth. Along with the obelisks, Mantis sets out on a journey of self-discovery, while Gamora rejoins the Ravagers and Nebula and Drax stay on Nowhere to care for the rescued children. The world premiere of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 took place at Disneyland Paris on April 22, 2023, and is scheduled to be released in the United States. It received favorable reviews from critics and is expected to make around $110 million domestically in its first weekend of release from 4,400 theaters.